Divine greetings, entities, energies, lovelies, bodies of light, the seekers and sojourners of truth, the 144, chosen of the chosen few, and the ancestors in the wind. You know who you are, right? The gods and goddesses, kings and queens, all you light bodies that's lighting up star seeds on the starship. Beam me up, Scotty. All of that. I greet you in the love, love, love that lights the truth from my heart to yours. I am Celestial Earth in this divine energy essence of it all, reporting to you live from nowhere other than, you got it, the fifth dimension, 5D in the place to be. I see you, you see me. So let's walk around and be a part of this family and this community. Get with the rhythm, get with the wind. Ashe, as usual, I bring you the news to infuse if you so choose to infuse with the light on this light grid. And remember, you always got a choice. You could choose not to. And if you don't infuse, you refuse. And those who refuse tend to get fried on the grid. All right, we don't want to be fried on the grid. We want to be gridding on the grid. We want to be winning on the grid, so that's gridding. All right, we're gridding right now. Happy 555 portal, and I'm gonna tell you why it's a third five for those of you who don't already know. Some of you may already get it, especially those of you who do your numbers. My divine numerologists out there. If numerology is your divination, I'm pretty sure you already know what that third five is. But we're gonna talk about it a little bit more detail. So today is a nice day. Besides it being my day of rest, if you have the 5D calendar, it's the 7th day. It's the root chakra day. But besides it being that day, it is the 5-5 portal, as well as Mercury in an alignment with Jupiter. All right. So with this Mercury and Jupiter alignment, it's saying a lot about communication as well as expansion, because you know Jupiter is that expansion, the expansion of knowledge within communication, within the mind. Mercury is like, you know, more of the mental. It rules what we know as Gemini, right? It rules that sign, that house, with communication, with mental, with things like that. So the Mercury and Jupiter alignment is saying, get on your assignment, communicate, be a part of the creative communication, right? Be creative in your communication. It's time to create with your communication, because remember, when we express ourselves, we form, right? We form, as the throat chakra shows. When we express ourselves, we bring things into form. Speak it and it shall appear, right? This is your abracadabra, right? It's not just a magic word. It's create it and let it be. It's look it up, right? Look up abracadabra, because it's really speaking to what the voice, what speaking and expressing is doing, right? So this communication is a form of expression. This 555 though, for let's talk about the number. Let's talk. I have a little download about it that I'm going to share with you, and there's a little bit more in depth. I'm thinking about doing a live later on. We'll see how that goes as I flow through this, see how spirit guides me. Maybe I'll do a live later, invite us to come on and be interactive and get the rest of this download if I'm not guided to give it right now. But as usual, if you haven't already, please remember to like, subscribe, share, comment if you dare. I sometimes forget to say that, I know. Please do subscribe, and anything else you can do to help with the algorithms, help get it going. Remember, I don't do this for likes or to try to, you know, gain, I don't know, numbers, but it's mainly to, I know how the numbers work. So it's mainly to expand the lighting up on the light grid, the connections, the interconnectivity, so it gets to those in the remote places, those who are looking for this information, looking for, it's like, where's my tribe? Where's my tribe? Or where is someone who can lead me to my tribe, right? They're looking for that channel. So get it? Channel, literally and figuratively. So this is to help light it up. So by all of you liking, subscribing, and doing all of that, you're helping to light it up on the light grid and help those who are looking for an avenue, looking for a particular lighthouse, looking for us to guide them to their particular lighthouse. Because sometimes I may just be the opening for them to get to where they need to go. Ashe? So let's light it up on the light grid. If you haven't done it yet, what you waiting for? Like, subscribe, share, drop an emoji, anything you want. Ashe? Happy 5-5 portal. So let's talk about that. As usual, for those who don't know about portaling, I always like to give a little bit about the portal for those who may be like, portal, what's with the portals? Because everybody don't wake up to the portals at the same time, right? I found out about portals maybe about 3 years ago, maybe like 2022, 2023, about 2-3 years ago. I started portaling and paying attention to portals, and I'm sure people had been doing it before me, right, when I just came into it. So somebody else may just be like, what is this portal? And especially if you're seeing it on your feed a lot, then it is definitely speaking to you right now. The portals are grabbing you, or as I shall say, you are grabbing the portals, right? Because the more you light up on the light grid, the more you do your work, the more you make yourself accessible to the energies, right? The more you make yourself seen in the realm of the unseen, and the more that you are seeing into the realms of the unseen, it becomes very seen for you. It becomes the new scene. As I say, the new scene of the crime, but there's no crime, right? It becomes the new scene of the divine. There we go. I'm gonna start calling it that. The scene of the divine. What's your COD? What's your scene looking like, right? But you place yourself there because of where you are unfolding in your consciousness in whatever way that is. And now all of a sudden you've reached to a point where you're seeing all these fractals of light, all these angles of light shown up as codes, all these God encryption type codes. Whether you're seeing all the numbers, you're seeing a bunch of colors, or you're starting to see all the portals. But it is you that is emitting that frequency out there, that the frequency can now be calling to you, and now you can see it. So especially if you're seeing it everywhere you look, you're like, dang, that portal again? What's this 5-5 portal? Let me explain it to you. Right, I just saw 717 on the timer, which is unification within manifestation. So spirit, is that what you're saying? It's like the portals is just all of us unificating. We're all unifying within this manifestation. What are we manifesting? Hello, 5D. 5D is ever evolving. We're just going to the next level and the next level. It's not a one-time manifestation and bam, we're here. There's an evolving, unfolding. There's an unfolding within the manifold of time with this fifth dimensional consciousness, new earth. So we're constantly manifesting. You best believe with every new moon, we should be manifesting another part of our existence within this timeline of the fifth dimension, right? So this evolving aspect of ever evolving is the manifestation. So yes, these portals are energetic hot spots. Thank you, Spirit, because I was about to go somewhere else and Spirit was like, hold on, reel it back in. It's an energetic hot spot. It's the best way I can explain it, that hot spots us, just like I mentioned in a previous video, that bridges us. These energetic hot spots are a bridge, a way for you to gain access. Those of us who have been working on the grid, those 144 and chosen of the chosen few, by them doing their work, they help amplify this hot spot, right? Many ways that the hot spot is being amplified. Also, it's amplified by the collective consciousness. This is another part that I like us to understand. These portals are there because of the collective consciousness. There's power in collective consciousness, collective energy, which is synergy. So in the divine synergy aspect of it, because most of the world is on this Gregorian calendar and uses this Gregorian calendar, then by the dates of these calendar, you will find the energetic hotspots through numerology, through divine numerology. You cannot go wrong. You can't hide the truth, right? Even though they change the dates and all, you still can't hide the truth, and the numbers will align. And wherever the collective consciousness is, so too the divine, right? So the collective consciousness, unbeknownst to them, has amplified, it's creating this energetic hotspot, even if they don't know that it's 5-5 in that way. They just know that today is the 5th of May according to their calendar. And just by being in that awareness of it, it amplifies it as being an energetic hotspot because everybody's on equal agreement that it's 5-5, right? It's the 5th of May, Cinco de Mayo. Happy Cinco de Mayo to the Latinos, Latinas, right? The Spanish side of town. Yes, I remember it is that too. So it's so funny. It's like it's 5-5, and now I actually can see Cinco de Mayo. It never used to really mean anything to me, but now it's 5-5, and because I portal and I'm all about my portaling, now it's an important day. It's an opportunity to bridge, right? So even for those of us that are on the new timeline, I don't ever throw the baby out with the bathwater, right? So it's a way for us to bridge. So I can still look at the Gregorian calendar and go, oh, it's an opportunity to bridge. So it's an opportunity to bridge those in the other timeline over here. It's an opportunity to bridge them just by us amplifying the hotspot. Then they can see us. It's like we're standing on one side going, hey, like they can't see us. We've been standing there on one side of the, let's say, a river. We're on one side, they're on the other side of the split, right? And we're over here and they can't see us amidst the fog and everything. But it's like when there's an energetic hot spot, it's like the fog clears for a little bit and we can go, hey, right? Not that we need to go flagging people down, but just by how we are exemplifying and existing on the light grid, we become more visible. There's a visibility again. So it's kind of like flagging them down without consciously having to do so. And they can see you. They can see your light is more amplified. Ashe? And of course, some people want to misuse what they see, but we're here for those who can bridge, who can see it and bridge and have access, right? So this 5-5 portal is really bringing in the change. Let me get into what it's about now. So now that I've explained faithfully, you understand now what the portals are. Just simplified energetic hotspots, an opportunity for us to bridge and find access into the next dimensional timelines, for us to see into the unseen, right? And it helps you personally in your soul growth to go into the next dimensional timeline of yourself, to collapse another timeline to be able to get to the next one. So it helps intrapersonally, interpersonally, individually, collectively. All of that is what these portals are helping to do. And we have all types of portals, but the easiest ones to find are the ones that are numbers like 5-5, 4-4, 6-6, the 8-8, right? And the 11-11. Those are the ones mainly, but there's ones every month. Every month. You got 1-1, 2-2, 3-3, 4-4, and so on, all the way up to the 12-12, right? So that's just one type of portal. You also have portals that come in the form of like palindromes, if it's palindrome numbers, right? And that's a topic in itself. I want to kind of stick to the 5-5-5, but there's different ways of seeing these portals and vortexes or vortices, right? So 5-5, why today is another 5 thrown in there? Again, if you already on your numbers, you know what I'm talking about. This month is, if you count up the numbers, so besides it being the 5th day of the 5th month, there is a universal number for this month that equals 5, because if you count up the numbers of the year with the month, not the day, just the year and the month, then we have a universal month of 14, right? Last month was a universal, thank you, bird. I love the soundtracks of the birds. The birds bring the word, right? The bird is saying word, word. We have a universal month. Last month was the 13. This month is 14, and 4 and 1 is 5. So it's really, this whole universal month is bringing together, it's solidifying this theme of change, because 5 represents change, right? 5 is what I call physical spiritual balance, right? Physical spiritual balance is what brings forth the change. When you have the harmony of the physical spiritual balance, which is also, as I mentioned before, creative, receptive, masculine, feminine, same thing, it's all synonymous. When you have that harmony, then you have the balance. You have that physical spiritual balance between the two that brings a change, which is 5, right? That 5th point that it brings a change. 5 is right in the middle between the numbers 1 and 9, right? 1 and 9. So within that completion of 9, the infinite number of 9, you have 5 right in the middle. 5 is the interchange between the 1 and the 9. The lower numbers and the upper numbers, it is the interchange, right? And if I'm speaking chakras, if you count your chakras 1 through 9 from the earth star to the soul star being 9, earth star being 1, then in the middle you have the heart, which is the interchange of energy. The interchange of blood changes your blood. The heart chakra is the interchange of your breath, of life, because the heart chakra is where the lungs are, right? And the lungs are very much a part of your heart's pumping. For those who don't know about the cardiovascular, with every pump, with every heartbeat, there is an interchange, there is an exchange of oxygen, dead smack in the middle of the pumping of the heart, right? What do I mean by that? You go through the right side. There's 4 chambers. The blood comes in through the right side, and then it exits the heart and goes to the lungs to have an interchange of oxygen. Get its oxygen and brings it back into the left side of the heart, carries it to the rest of the body through the aortic valve. Yes, I know, I could do cardiology, right? But just knowing that we are seeing even more, what is this interchange? What is this interchange of energy? And I'm saying that, listen, feel the wind as the wind moves around. This is an interchange, right? The wind also represents that breath of life that comes through the wind, moves our oxygen around for us, moves everything around for us, moves the frequencies. So there's this interchange that is happening. 5, right? So the 5th, as I said, this third 5, just to recap, this third 5 is the universal month of 14, which equals 5, and that's how you have that extra 5. So it's like a triple code 5, thrown up in there, right? So it's really bringing the change that's happening all month. If you think about it, this is the 5th month, as according to them, May 5, so change. And we're also in, if we go by the 5D calendar, we're in the month of Jeb, aka the month of Taurus, which has already begun, right? Before we even entered into May, it began already at the end of April. So that month is all within Taurus, right? And in the Taurus of the Taurus, I think I got to do a whole nother video about that. The Taurus, meaning your Taurus field. Within the Taurus, there's this interchange that is happening, major changes happening in Taurus. And what's in Taurus that is about change? Uranus. Uranus brings radical change, that Oya energy. So there is change being blasted through the airwaves of Taurus, blasted through the airwaves of May, right? For those who see it as May. So this 5-5 portal is inviting us. This 5-5 portal is bringing the change that it's highlighting, or it's ushering us in, right? And saying, here's the interchange. Here's where we're going to shift gears, shift in these timelines. Everything is changing, right? And remember, we got the earthquaking energy, right? The split is happening. Wherever there's a split, there's some quaking happening, right? So there's an earthquake in the atmosphere, as I've mentioned. There's an earthquake in the earth. Yes, it's still happening beneath a lot of us. Look up your geo channels and you will see. I will keep mentioning that because it's for us to take these quaking splits seriously. Ashe. So with that, let me give a little bit of the download about this portal. This portal is portaling us through. What is it taking us through as a theme of change? It's portaling us through with radical changes to manifest our new timelines. As it holds the vibration of harmonizing the physical spiritual balance, aka masculine feminine energy or creative receptive activity, it activates the changes that are needed in order to manifest the paths of destiny that accesses our new timelines. So this interchange that's happening, it's holding a vibration of harmonizing, as I said, the physical spiritual. It's harmonizing that right now. And or the masculine feminine, however you choose to look at it. And it's given us the changes that we need. So it's for us to look and really reflect, um, and see what's happening, what's coming up for us, right? Especially in regards to communication, creative communication, expanding the communication, but not being over exaggerated, right? Because Jupiter could do that. It could exaggerate in its expansion. So we don't want to exaggerate, but we want to look at the expansion of our communication, right? And there are things that are happening with us, whether it be in relationships, on a job, whatever is happening that is highlighting to you and bringing to you, no, this is the change you need. So even if it's something that feels uncomfortable, or, maybe you had a rough weekend. I know I had a busy one. It wasn't rough, but it was a little bit eye-opening. And let today be reflective. We're at the peak of it, right? The portals, you can feel them 3 days before, kind of like the moon, like 3 days before, even up to a week before, you can start to feel the energies of the portal. So you might have been feeling it over the weekend before, but today is the peak of it. And then how you interchange determines how you're going to be even after that. And it's still, we'll still feel it a couple days after as well, 3 days up to a week after. But mainly I always like to look at the 3 days, because that's when it's most, intense, whether it be a full moon, new moon, or a portal, right? But today being the peak of it, um, it's inviting us to be reflective while looking at this change, right? And allow these changes to activate our paths of destiny when we allow it. Instead of tensing, release, right? Instead of contracting, let go and just let it release. And then look at what's being activated in your life. So rather than looking at the negative part of it, rather than looking at the challenge, we really got to change the perspective and look at the opportunity that it's bringing. What changes have been happening? What major changes have you been feeling approaching you, coming up, especially if it's about moving? I've been saying that if you've been feeling like I need to move, please listen to that inner voice, let it ring loud, and start making preparations, because your spiritual guides are guiding you, right? Your ancestors are guiding you. Your angelic hosts are guiding you. By the way, you are an angelic host. I was getting that today in my message, like, I'm an angelic host. I'm a fractal of light. And if I'm a fractal of light, I'm an angle of light. Therefore, I am a host of this angle of light. I host these light codes, right? So we're all angelic hosts, so to speak, right? But all of this, your celestial beings, your galactic, they're all guiding us, guiding you, guiding me, guiding we. So listen to those little cues and clues. Let's pick up your breadcrumbs. If you're getting these synchronicities, nothing is a coincidence, but everything is a co-incident, right? And what I mean by that, for those like, what did she just say? Nothing is a coincidence, meaning, oh, that's just a lucky happening. No, but everything is a coincidence, meaning an incident in life, a happening in life that is it's being co-created with the divine and you, and the divine in you. So it's all intrinsic. That's the coincidence of what is happening. So don't just take it lightly as, oh, that's just happens chance or haphazardly happening, right? It's happening to speak to you. So we got to listen and do our due diligence. Ashe? So aside from that, ones must put their hearts and breath in the breath of life, right? Let me make sure I say this one slow and break it down. Ones must open their hearts and breathe the breath of life, Sa, into their energy centers, Sakem, as the entrance to the soul, to rise into their spiritual awareness, Sahu, in order to tap into that physical spiritual balance that allows for change. So what is that saying? Again, you hear me breaking it down. Sa, Sakem, Sahu. For my comedically inclined, you know what I'm talking about. The Sa is the breath of life. The Sakem is the animated, the energy, the life force energy that is moving through you, which are our energy centers. And the Sahu is spiritual awareness. So we need to open our hearts Remember, the breath of life flows through here. The element is wind. So really open your heart. I'm not just saying, oh, I'm open hearted. Oh, I love this. No, we're talking about really open the heart in your soul, in your subconscious mind. When I say open the heart, it's kind of like saying go into your subconscious mind, because that's the heart of your soul. So go deep, right? Open your hearts, go deep, and breathe. When you open the heart and you get that deep, allow yourself to breathe the breath of life. Allow that Sa, breath of life, to flow through you, right? And flow through each and every energy center, as they are the entrance to your soul. Utilize this. So when you breathe the breath of life, imagine you putting this breath of life into the entrance of your soul. These are compartments of your soul. So allowing yourself to really get that energy in motion to be moving through your soul, right? In order, and that's while working through it in your soul, that is what rises your spiritual awareness, your Sahu, your risen Sa, risen breath of life, risen spirit, in order to tap into those physical, spiritual balances, right? And that's what's going to allow from the change. What is all this saying? Well, let me finish the download part of it and I'll break it in. It is only through soul's integrity and true heart vibrations that this can be expressed, which can access the true time reality zone that is to be utilized to bridge, portal, or transit into the next timeline. This true time reality is the currency they need to find in order to collapse the old timeline and transit into the next one, as I was saying earlier. This is the change that is causing the seismic splits between the dimensional lines, because it is time. So let me go back to what breaking down what was being said, that this Sa Sekem Sehu, breaking that down, is showing how tapping into that balance allows for change. And why is that important? Because it's only through your soul's integrity, right, and your true heart vibration that you can have this change. So only through working this through your mind body complex, through your soul, allowing the breath of life to work through you in that way. And the way to do it is in that truth and honesty and earnesty. Due diligence means working through your soul's integrity and your true heart vibration. So it's not something that can be superficially done. It's not something that you can just listen to this and say, I'm gonna do that. It has to be something that is felt, because the feeling is the knowing, right? So when you feel it, when it's felt, that is the true heart vibration, right? And that's how it has to be expressed. That's the only way it can be expressed and be done in that way, where you have the spiritual awareness, where you can tap into that balance in order to have that change. A lot of times it's hard for people to have that change because they're not in their true heart vibrations, or they're not operating in their soul's integrity. They're still in their conscious mind. They're still in their ego's narrative a lot, right? This is why I say we got to get rid of that contraband, because it will hold you back, slow you down. It is like a major speed bump on the acceleration path, right? And so this is the only way it can be expressed, which can access the true timeline reality. And why that was shown to me, because and it's like I have to say this, the way to transit is going to be through the true time reality, whether you're in ideal time, real time, or true time. But the way, the zone that you need to be in is within true time reality. And when you're operating in that, then you can be in your soul's integrity. You can be in the true heart vibrations. When you're operating like that, you're operating in the true time reality zone, right? Which this is the zone that is utilized to bridge. That's why, to transit, to cross over, to portal through. And in doing so, that's what's going to help you get into whatever your next dimensional timeline is, right? This true timeline reality is the currency. So it's like it wants us to know this is the way to flow. This is the current flow, the currency that you need to find, that we all must find. And that currency is what's needed in order for us to collapse the old timeline and get into the new, because that's the only way we get into the new. That's the only way we have true change. The true interchange is when you finally release and allow that old timeline to collapse, that old egoic narrative to collapse. And once that does, you open another corridor, you open another pathway into that next timeline. This is why this is so important. This 5 is really important. All right. This is a change that is causing the seismic splits between the dimensional timelines. So this change that's happening, I'm speaking about doing this change, being this change, having this change, but it's also to know that by being in this change, it is what is also causing the seismic split, right? The earthquaking that's happening. As I said, it's us. It's us, baby. It's us. We the ones. We are the ones. When you become the one, when you know that you are the one that is the one of the one within the one mind that is here to break that programmed matrix, once you do that, you become one of those that are agitating the grounds in the old earth, that is breaking that up and causing the split. So by all of us moving upon the face of this earth, electromagnetic beings that we are, and by all of us amplifying, evolving, by us evolving, we amplify the way this light is infusing, the way we infuse in the light grid. And so between us, you have those who are infusing and you have those that are refusing. And even that is an energetic clash. That's the shift that causes the earthquake, because there's friction. There's those who are infusing and they're amplifying the light grid, and those who are refusing and they're pulling in away in a resistance from the light grid. So they're pulling away and they're collapsing. It kind of reminds me, if I could think about this type of earthquake, the one where it's collapsing under. So therefore, the other part of the earth is raising, like they're collapsing under, they're falling down, they're collapsing under, they're rubbing into the earth like that, right? And those who are raising, infusing with the light, it's being risen, right? So this is an earthquake that is happening. It's causing a shift in the earth because of that friction, right? That's one way of looking at it. There's also the earthquakes where they're just pulling away, right? It's just the earth is snapping because it's pulling away, and this is happening at an energetic level to a physical. So again, this is echoing change, 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 right? Before we get to where the sun really gets closer to a direct, or let's say an exact conjunction with Uranus in the later degrees of Taurus, right? What's happening in our Taurus field within Taurus? There's some interchanges happening, right? We got to be about our business. So with that, let me see if I could give a formula, or I may have to do this later. I'll give a little bit now, and I think maybe there's something I could come in and do later in case I don't get on later, because you know what? I'll do the formula later. I'll speak about it later, because there's a formula for this equation, for this change that is happening, and that's not necessarily needed right now. What's needed right now is what I'm feeling is, okay, Spirit wants to give the what can we do within this change. What can be done? All right. So what can be done within this change is meditate, fast. If you haven't already been fasting, your body probably already suspended itself already, because a lot of us, especially if you're the 144, you've been real sensitive to feeling these portals now, right? You may be feeling something coming up. Why am I eating like, and then you watch something like this and be like, oh, it was a portal. No wonder why I wasn't feeling to eat nothing in the past 3 days, right? Especially when you hear me say it's most potent, 3 days before, 3 days after. So those of the 144 may have intuitively already been guided to not really eat a certain way, or not eat something, or be on some type of fast, right? It doesn't have to be a strict fast, but in some way your body is fasting or detoxing. So one of the things you can do specifically on this day is fast, detox, even if it's just for today. Like eat less, eat as less as you can. Allow the light codes to run through you, flow through you, right? Drink a lot of water, meditate, do a lot of meditations that you can. Sit with yourself, write and journal something. Remember, this is also Mercury, communication. Sit in the sun, especially if you can, because there's those light codes coming in, and you will be sitting there like the plants, getting that direct sunlight into your skin, getting that melanin activation on, right? Even if you're not heavily melanated, right? Remember, it's not just about color with melanin. It's a little bit more technical than that, or complex, I should say, than that in understanding it. So getting that activation on, letting the codes come through you, just sit down and write. See, like how I'm hearing the bird. The bird is just communicating. It's just get it out. Just speak. Just listen. Go sit with nature, whether it be on the beach, by a lake, in a forest, whatever type of nature. Let nature speak to you. Really go within what you can do for today. And even if you see this later, just do what you can for the rest of the day, or do it tomorrow or the day after. Do it. Try to, don't try. Triers are for liars. Do your best to buckle down with this energy for at least the next 3 days. If you didn't get to do it today, today's the peak. Even if you get to do it when you come home, when you get home, just shut down from everything else and just go within. Go deep within and look at the interchange that is happening, right? So do as much as you can. This is a time to, the things that we've been feeling come upon us, that we're shifting into the new timeline. This is that portal that's hitting, like that thing, that very thing. You see what that is? That thing. The universe is pointing it out to you. The divine is pointing out to you and saying, I need you to handle that. You need you to handle that. That very thing is what needs to change in this interchange. So let that be the boost that gives you the energy to do something different. Do something different, or don't do something if you're not supposed to be doing something. If there's something you need to be pulling away from and refraining from, refrain from it. Have the self-discipline to pull yourself back so you can be a part of this exchange, right? So you can feel the change and rearrange what needs to be done in our spiritual domain. Ashe? So with that, anything else? I don't want to go too long. I'd rather come back on and give y'all the other pointers. So what I will invite us to do at 5:55 p.m. Eastern time, or if you want to do it your time, but I'm calling for those to be in solidarity, for us to light up on the light grid together and amplify this divine synergy. If this is for you, if this calls to you, if you are one of these, the many chosen of the chosen of the chosen few, I invite you to light up on the light grid at 5:55 Eastern time. So whatever time zone you're in, align with that Eastern time if you can. If not, the next best thing would be to do it at 5:55 your time, right? The reason being because in alignment with what we're particularly doing, right, in this vortex, this part of the grid. So in order to align with this part of the grid and what we're doing here, it would be at 5:55 Eastern time. But you can also light up on the grid, wherever you are. So even if you see it later and you're like, oh man, it's after 5, it's okay. Do it 5:55 your time, or do it 5:55 tomorrow, like maybe the next 3 days, 5:55 a.m., 5:55 p.m. So you got 2 times, twice a day to amplify that. But as for me particularly, I am committing to the 5:55 p.m. Eastern time today. And what we're going to do is we're going to be still at 5:55. So if you can, find a quiet place at about 5:50, just to kind of get yourself settled in. Take a little quick break if you're going to be at work, like I need a minute, if you can, and just be still. Be still. If you can find a 5-5 meditation on YouTube, there's a lot of them. You can tune into one of those. There's some 5-minute ones. There's some 10-minute ones. Just find one. Just put it in 555 or 5-5 portal meditation. It'll come up, right? You can do a guided meditation. You can do a sound meditation. I think the sound ones are about 5 minutes. Or you could just be in silence. And you can just completely set yourself in on the grid. See yourself lighting up on the light grid and joining with us as we synchronize in a divine synergistic way. In the divine synergy of it all, we're going to synchronize at that time. So that's what I call to invite those of you in on this interchange of the 5-5 portal. So with that said, we will share the formula. I'll do a live, so look out for the live later on tonight. And it was a pleasure sharing this 555 portal with you. Don't forget the universal month of 5 all month. So we're going to be hearing the echo of that other 5. So this is a 5-5 portal, but then we're going to hear the echo of 5, 5, 5. This is a universal month, what? 5, right? All the way carrying us to the Big Bang when the sun meets up with Uranus. Change. Gotta make a change. So with that said, look forward to seeing you all later. Each one, reach one, teach one. If you don't know where to start, start in your big, beautiful heart. Shine your light from the inside out and be the candle that lights the next one and the next one and the next one. Peace, love, and light.